If you can't do chalitza, you can't give a get either.
Melania Bamot says at least 18 times. Kol she'ino oleh leibum eno oleh lechalitza, kol she'ino oleh lechalitza eno oleh leibum. The question is, let's say in a case that she's unable to speak, can you do yibum or not? So it doesn't. So what asking me? Anyway, look a second in that.
I don't know. Want to ask Jerry? Go ask Jerry to give you open the door for you.
It was open. It was locked from the morning. Yeah, it was locked from the morning. Look, please look in Masechet Megillah, Daf Daled Amud Aleph.
Excuse me.
I always make sure you understand the case. Then look at Mishlochon Aruch the Rambam, the Kohen.
What's that?
Whatever
We try. Who try? Nobody tries harder than me to try to get to do some of the.
No, but you on your own.
Okay.
The Rambam is in Sefer Nashim.
I know where it is.
Chol Tibur v'Chalitza, or the Shulchan Aruch is right behind you. Just take it. Shulchan Aruch and Ezer is always one volume.
Sometimes I open the book and I put it right in front of the rabbi.
Why not? I mean,
Right, Jojo?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong in that. So we are here in Megillah Daf Daled Amud Aleph. Approximately the third of the page. The first word in the line is V'amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. This is the Gemara that everyone knows. We're going to delve into it to see how the Shulchan Aruch or the Rambam or the Chinuch are bringing it. V'amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. We have plenty of Gemarot here. You see, the first word in the line is Me'ikara. I'm going to talk about the obligation of women, if it's the same as men, whatever you heard before is good. Today we'll have 3 ways of understanding, or maybe 1. Let's see. See, Ve'amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Nashim chayavot, pay attention to the word. You have it there?
Not yet.
And then look a second. The first word in the line is
Ve'ikara.
First word in the line. Jack, you have it?
Yes.
Ve'amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Nashim chayavot b'mikra Megillah. Pay attention to the word b'mikra Megillah. Not Nashim chayavot to hear. Nashim chayavot b'mikra Daled Amud Aleph. שאף הם היו באותו הנס. Very interesting. What does it mean שאף הם היו באותו הנס?
They were going to be killed also.
Oh, so Eli says, simply the pshat is exactly as Eli says. Look at the Rashi just to make sure we understand, because it's a machloket Rashi and Rashbam. Look at the Rashi.
Esther, right? Esther was
hear what he says?
And through her, the whole, like a lot of.
What he says? This is machloket Rashi and Rashbam. What Eli said is Rashi. Let's look at the Rashi later. We'll see why it's important to understand. שאף הם היו באותו הנס. Look at the Rashi a little lower. שאף על אנשים גזר המן להשמיד, להרוג ולאבד מנהר ועד זקן את אף אנשים. Exactly as Eli said, but the Rashbam in Psachim and the Safot in other places are saying what Jack is saying. שאף הם היו, they were instrumental in the nest. The ladies in Egypt kept the spirit of the people. Yes, this is why Ba'arba Kosot. In a minute, you will see that the way we approach Afem Ayuba Otohanes makes a big difference. Yes.
Yeah.
So let's see now. The famous Tosfot here. Nashim Chayavot B'Mikra Megillah. Mikan. The simple language of the Gemara mashma שאנשים מוציאות את האנשים. A woman can read for her husband also. She has the exact same obligation. מוציאות את האחרים ידי חובתם. So not only a woman can read for another woman, not only a woman can read for herself, she can read for a man. Otherwise, Mideloka Amar, otherwise the Gemara would have said, listen good. Otherwise the Gemara would have said, Nashim חייבות לשמוע מקרא המגילה. The language נשים חייבות במקרא. מקרא means reading, not to hear, to read. והכי נמי משמע בערכים, the same idea seems in גמרא ערכים, the Kamar, the Gemara says in ערכים, you don't have it.
No, that's
the Kamar. Downstairs we have another 18 מגילה. the Kamar, הכל כשרים לקרוא, again, לקרוא את המגילה, הוא מסיק, what is הכל? הכל כשרים, להטויה אימי, ומשני להטויה נשים, the same language. Over there you have the language הכל כשרים, and the Gemara says להטויה to add ladies. משמע, להוציא אפילו אנשים. If Tosfot would stop here, we would look in the Shulchan Aruch, and the Shulchan Aruch would tell us that the women as men are obligated to hear and to read, and therefore a woman can read
For a man.
for a man theoretically for a husband would have the kasher. The Habit Tosefta, Tani Behedya, please listen good now. The Tumtum is a man that halacha that today, either a man, this is androgynous. Tumtum is we're not sure if he's a male or a female. Today they operate on the kids when they are minors, but Tumtum ein motzi, listen good now. Ein motzi lo et mino velo sheino mino. Why? If the he might be a she, why can exactly it doesn't matter? This is an open Tosefta. It says
What's the premise? It's not permitted?
the androgynous, which is both, let's say, motzi et mino ve'en motzi et sheino mino. Upshita, hello, adifa, halachically, isha androgynous. So here we have a Tosefta somehow that contradicts our Gemara. Our Gemara, the Gemara, but remember, the trick is, the Gemara doesn't say openly a woman can read to a husband. The language the Gemara is using, the Gemara is saying Mikra Megillah, which of course seems to say yes. Now we're coming to someone before the Rambam, before the Rif, before Tosfot. V'chen, pasku halachot gedolot. Halachot gedolot is the earliest, yes? The Isha Motziya only mina, a woman can read only for a female. Aval lo anashim. Okay. So now, fine. So remember, we have now a machloket. The Gemara simply seems to say for everyone. Over there is mefurash that you cannot do motzi man. So now we have a problem. So what is the Gemara saying? Nashim chayavot. יש לומר, דסלקה דעתם, לא יועיל קריאתן, אפילו להוציא אנשים. Now, if the woman has an obligation only to hear, not to read, which we are going to discuss, one explanation is Fatimet is the second, the third is the way they say it in Greece, consider a minute. And whatever Haba means, a woman cannot read for anyone. Because her mitzvah is a different mitzvah. Her mitzvah is to hear, not to read. But
that's not the language, right? The language is...
No, to Shabbat. But so before we move, let's look at the Shulchan Aruch. Look a second on top of the word Nashim Chayavot. You see there is an Aleph there, Aleph. Look at the top, look at the Ein Mishpat Aleph. Rambam, Perek Aleph. Rambam, Perek Aleph, Milchot Megillah. Then you have Orach Chaim, Siman Tav Reish Peitet. So please open Shulchan Aruch 689a, 689a, Orach Chaim Aleph. Talpat. You see the Shulchan Aruch copies the Gemara, yes? Hakol Tav Reish Peitet. הכל חייבים בקריאתה, אנשים ונשים וגרים ועבדים משוחררים. So he's using the Lashon, everyone is obligated to read, right? Fine. Let's look and see if bet. אחד הקורא דרידו, ואחד השומע מן הקורא, as most of us do, יצא ידי חובתו, תרפ"ג, והוא שישמע ממישהו חייב בקריאתה, the man to listen to his reading has to be like you, we spoke about the child yesterday, לפיכך, אם היה הקורא חירש, הוא קטן, או פשוט, I thought it might be something about חירש here.
No, he's talking about
He didn't realize it came with it. אם היה קורא חירש, he cannot hear, so obviously it's not חייב, או קטן או שוטה, השומע ממנו לא יצא. Fine, this is accepted by us, by שופר, fine. Now listen to this. ויש אומרים שהנשים אינם מוציאות את האנשים. Who is this יש אומרים? בתוספות, ההלכות גדולות, 1,000 years ago, based on the Tosefta, are learning that a woman is chayav somehow to hear the Megillah, not to read. So if the woman is reading, שהנשים אינם מוציאות את האנשים. Why? We see, look at the verb, you see there is a verb on top of the word ויש אומרים. Look at the verb. See, normally if you have the verb, you see here. The verb, שם, בשם הלכות גדולות, וכן כתב המרדכי, see Joseph, look at it. Every time you see the word, you see on top ויש, there is a tiny verb. You look here. This tells you the source of the Shulchan Aruch. Who is this ויש אומרים? שם בשם בהג וכן כתב המרדכי. Remember, המרדכי is 200-300 years later, but the Beit Yosef brings him very often. בשם הרביה. So as you see, of course, it's a stam ויש אומרים, yes? It's a stam. First Maran says, yes, a woman can read, she can read for her husband too, ויש אומרים שהנשים אינם מוציאות את האנשים. הגה, look at the הגה, now next page. הגה. Listen to this now. יש אומרים, אם האישה קוראה לעצמה, the woman is reading for herself, מברכת לשמוע מגילה. Remember, if you take the position of the Bahag, the woman is not chayav to read. She's basically reading in order to hear. So the bracha is a different bracha. לשמוע מגילה.
She's reading it in effect the ear.
Yes. We're going to talk again. This is
the source of the chiluk.
No, the source we started. It's a Tosefta. Look at Tosafot Sem. Look at Tosafot Nashim היו באותו הנהלת. זה תוספת. לא, השאלה היא איך מסבירים את הגמרא. This is a מפורש בתוספתא that a woman cannot do it. And the בעל הלכות גדולות says that the בעל הלכות גדולות says
Maran rejects it.
לא, מרן, it's מרן. זה סתם ויש אומרים. זה סתם ויש אומרים. The first opinion he says a woman is like a man. A woman is like a man, and then he says ויש אומרים שהאנשים אינם מוציאות את האנשים, את זה יש אומרים.
אינם מוציאות.
Which means
you assume because there's a different chiyuv. That's the basis.
otherwise זה לא יכול להיות. And there is no exception to the rule. It says across the board. If me and you understand, for instance, if a woman are chayav b'berkat HaTorah, yes, whatever the explanation is, a woman can say berkat HaTorah for a man too. Even though she is, so to say, patur from limud Torah, lo mishaneh. She is chayav b'kiddush, she can be motzi a man. Here, if she cannot,
but Maran,
yeah, it's a stam v'yesh omrim. Yeah.
Is Ramah telling us that's how he follows, or he's just saying that if you follow that way, you change the bracha?
By the Ashkenazim, every time you have many, especially minyanim for ladies, the Baal Koreh is a man, so the man is asking one of the ladies to make the bracha. Or if he makes the bracha for them, he will say the bracha Yishmoa Mikra Milah, because we are following the. Okay. So the question is why? So I'm giving you one explanation. The explanation is written in the Sefer Marcheshet. This is written by someone.
well, but Maran, he really,
No, it's open.
no,
It's
even
just
for,
time
even for men, he's defining the mitzvah l'shmoa from somebody.
You mean
who's
the language.
Yeah, he made it the same.
אבל באמת הוא אומר, the first opinion says a woman can read for husband. Only ויש
Read for her husband, right.
זה
Not coming now.
מפורש. Please look a second. Please look a second. In דף י"ח. Go back to the Gemara, please. דף י"ח, page 18. The third wide line. דברים מעניינים מאוד מעניינים. The third wide line in the Gemara, you see? Third wide line, כרעה על פה לא יצא. Let's assume that you know the Megillah by heart, but you're not reading it in the class. You're saying the entire text, but לא יצא. מנהלן, why not? Amar Rava, listen to interesting Gemara. Adya, we learn now Zechira. It says in the end of the Megillah, Hayamim ha'ele, there's Nizkarim, Vena'asim. The Na'asim is the Seudah, the Mishloach Manot, Nizkarim. Uktiv hatam, listen to this now, Ktov zot zikaron b'sefer. Where is this pasuk written? In Perashat Beshalach, after Amalek is attacking and Yoshua is fighting them, it says, "Vayomer Hashem el Yoshua, Ktov zot zikaron b'sefer, v'sim b'oznei Yoshua, ki macho echet zecher Amalek." So how do I know that the Megillah cannot be recited b'al peh? Gezerah shava from Amalek.
How do we have a Gezerah Shavah and Megillah? I mean,
טוב זאת זיכרון בספר, but you have it in Masechet Megillah, you have it
I
numerous
understand, but
times.
first of all, we all learned the Gezerah Shavah
We
from
are going-
Moshe Sinai.
We are going to learn the Torah Even. The Torah Even says that the Kriya Bayom is the Divrei Kabbalah is much more than the regular Rabbanan. Kriyat Laila is one Kriya, there's Kriyat Yom. טוב זאת זיכרון בספר. Very often the Gezerah Shavah means the interpretation of the word. It's not very often the Gemara says they're not learning the halakha from that. מה פירוש המילה לזכור?
I see.
לזכור מה להלן בספר? מה להלן בספר? אף כאן בספר. Okay? By Amalek, as we are going to do in about 10 days, we're going to read the Sefer. Yes, the Gemara continues. וממאי דהאי זכירה קריהו. How do you know that by Amalek? גיל מעיון בעלמו. Maybe you have to think about it. זכור את אשר עשה לך עמלק. You have to think about it. לעשר כדעתה. הכתיב, it says in ספר דברים, זכור את אשר עשה לך עמלק. יכול בלב. Maybe I am obligated to learn מה זה יהיה. כשהוא אומר לא תשכח, מה פירוש המילה לא תשכח? לא תשכח is always in your mind, yes? כשהוא אומר לא תשכח, הרי שכחת הלב אמור. So the Torah says already I cannot forget, yes? מה אני מקיים זכור בפה. So again, it says on the Megillah נזכרים. It says by Amalek זכור. We are proving that by Amalek זכור means בספר, because if it means only not to forget, it says לא תשכח. Now, here's the question. In my Chumash, in your Chumash, it says also, Zachor et Yom HaShabbat HaKadeshu, right?
No, but Peh means to say it.
Tov.
You didn't get to say Peh.
It says Zachor, no, Sham Katuv, Ktov Zod Zikaron.
No, it's Kiddush B'Dvarim.
Zod Zikaron B'Sefer. Says the Marcheshet, as Sammy noted, this is not a regular Zerah Shabbat. So I have in Chumash a pasuk Zachor et Yom HaShabbat HaKadeshu. Why have to read Kiddush from the printed Sefer Torah? Why did the Gemara choose arbitrarily? This is good. Why is the Gemara choosing this Gezerah Shavah, which you realize it's not a regular Gezerah Shavah, like giving Sinai, yes? The same word exactly, זכור את יום השבת לקדשו, זכור את אשר עשה לך עמלק. זכירת יציאת מצרים. Nowhere, ספר, פתאום, comes to the Megillah, we decided. Says the Marcheshet, we don't have it here, but the Ramban in Perashat says, if you read the Megillah, you have a kiyum of Zechirat Amalek also.
If you read the Megillah.
If you read the Megillah Esther, לא שמעת.
Reading is an example of remembering.
No, but the Ramban is saying, the Ramban says, we will talk about it.
Read it from the Torah on said or something.
All Am Israel for the last 1600 years is reading into Sefer Torah. Because it's the obligation, Dafka Sefer Torah or Sefer, yes? Says the Ramban, if you read the Megillah, Sefer means written on a parchment. Says the Ramban, Yesh Megillah, Zikaron Maaseh Amalek. Now, is a woman chayav in the mitzvah?
Wait, can you explain that again about the zecher for again? Could you just?
Yeah, so if we have the only Bereshit Shmot, look at 7:4. I'll get on before. Look at Bereshit Shmot. No, it's Ramban.
Right, hands on it.
See that in the left. You have only Bereshit Shmot, right?
I'm gonna go get Devarim. I know where it is.
Bring all the ones like this.
Okay.
You have a Devarim one?
This is Shemot.
No, it's not good. It's not good. Eli, take it.
I
Like Devarim.
If
okay, wait a second, but until you come, תקשיב טוב עכשיו. Is a woman חייב, is a חירת עמלק or not?
No.
All right, we're done.
Come
and have hear it from
כל
the
ספר החינוך,
Oh,
חייב במלחמה, חייב
Sefer HaChinuch says the main purpose, it's a big machloket. Sefer HaChinuch says the main reason of Zachor is in order to remember, and when the chance comes, we have to fight. Says a woman, says Sefer HaChinuch, says Sefer HaChinuch, a woman is patur because she's not lav benot melchama, they're not fighting. Good? If so, תשמע טוב עכשיו. בסדר? אז עוד פעם. The reason why we read the Megillah is because you learn from Amalek. Amalek is connected, right?
The reason we read
Yeah, the Gemara says the reason you need Sefer and not Baal Peh, the reason why
says to do it, accept it.
it doesn't say anywhere in the Megillah. Yes? The Gemara just says that reading means reading from Sefer.
same practice.
תקשיב טוב, מאוד חשוב. To remember really means by Baal Peh.
Right.
So says the Sefer Marcheshet, תשמע איזה יופי שהוא אומר. הוא אומר, when we read the Megillah, we have two aspects. Every time you hear the Megillah, you have a mitzvah of Pirsum Enisah, you have a mitzvah to remember what happened. And let's look at the Ramban first, then we'll look at the Ramban. Look at Perashat Pekudei. Larry Pekudei, the end, look at the Ramban there, the end of Pekudei by Amalek. It's by you, look a second, the book that you have, it's in page Kuf Dalet, you know, make sure it says on top.
I got it.
Kitetze, yeah?
It's
page-
The horse says.
Look a second, please look a second. זכור את אשר עשה לך עמלק, you see? כבר הזכרתי המדרש, every time by the Ramban מדרש, is מדרש הלכה, כבר הזכרתי המדרש שדרשו בו בספרה, ספרה יש מדרש הלכה ויקרא, יכול בלבך, the same as we saw in the Gemara, maybe you have to remember עמלק in your heart, כשהוא אומר לא תשכח, the same exactly as we saw in the Gemara, yes? הרי שכחת הרב אמורה, מה אני מקיים זכור, שתהיה שונה בפיך. You have to speak out the story of Amalek. וכן בספרי, which is the מדרש הלכן ויקרן דברים, זכור את אשר עשה לך עמלק בפה, לא תשכח בלב. So first the Ramban establishes to מדרש הלכה, we saw it in the Gemara, it's not in your mind, it's בפה. Says the Ramban, ולא ידעתי מהי הזכירה הזו בפה. So what does it mean? How are we fulfilling it? אם לאמור, just, שנקרא פרשת עמלק בציבור, the same way we do it, yes? ונמצינו למדים מן התורה בשנייה זכור. So here,
What does that mean?
יופי, so he quotes the Gemara in Megillah דף כ"ט, the first week of חודש אדר, שקלים. בשנייה זכור, here. So here, ונמצאנו, says the Ramban, you have a remez in the pasuk. If the Torah means that you have to read from a Sefer Torah, so here reading next Shabbat is מן Torah is that, ויהיה סמי סמך למקרא מגילה מן התורה. The Ramban understood, you hear this? The Ramban understands that the mitzvah מן התורה to read is לאו דווקא בספר תורה the way we do. You have to read from a sefer. Sefer in halachic terminology means read on parchment. Says the Ramban, ויהיה סמך למקרא מגילה מן התורה. כך אומר. Okay, so then the Ramban continues. Okay, the Ramban explains what is really the mitzvah, yes? הנכון בעיניי, שהוא לומר שלא תשכח מה שעשה לנו עמלק, עד שנמחה את שמו מתחת השמיים, yes? ונספר זה לבנינו ולדורותינו, this is the mitzvah, the verbally tell the story, לומר להם, כך עשה לנו הרשע. ולכך נצטווינו למחות את שמו. We are obligated to tell over the story, to remember from generation to generation, and the way Sammy mentioned, Sefer HaChinuch says, and by that, when we have the chance or the obligation to fight, we have to fight.
But it's a machloket of some sort.
ודאי שזה מחלוקת.
So when we hear Perashat Amalek, we're fulfilling the Aseh and Lo Taseh at the same time because it's not
ודאי.
and
Next week we'll see is the obligation to tzibur or not, but
and so possible if the woman is there listening, she's fulfilling. Maybe she doesn't have the Lo Taseh, has the Aseh, right?
No, Lo Taseh, she's chayav on everything.
She's chayav what?
It's not Zman.
Why?
Because it's a mitzvah 24/7.
Zachor is
Zachor.
all the Zachors are anytime. All your
Correct. So you're saying you can fulfill it anytime during the year.
Like מן Torah, whenever you hear it, as a matter of fact, many people this year, because it's a leap year, say that you have to read it, so to say twice. Lo tishkach means, when 12 months pass and you don't remember. To forget means, Chatam Sofer says, the Gemara says, mitzvah lamet, shishtakach min halev. What is the year of Abelu?
It takes 12 months.
Takes psychologically a year.
13 months.
Shichecha means when 12 years pass.
12 months.
12 months.
Rabbi, I'm sorry, when you said many people, there is an opinion that says you should hear it twice because it's a leap year?
In certain communities, on a leap year, in September, when you read Kitetze, in my shul, we make an announcement. Everyone should have in mind to be Yotzei Parashat Zachor. Don't worry, it's okay to go through 120 years without doing it. It's just those who didn't hear it, David, are obligated in the Torah to hear it. He's saying even those who hear it, says the Maramshit, have to hear it again because a year passed by. Okay, so then he continues, V'chel v'maaseh Miriam. What does it mean to remember Miriam? Nitztavinu, we are commanded to tell our kids the story of Miriam.
So is this the shape Zechirot that we have? So that's why people say it every day.
Exactly what it's based on.
Sure.
Those, according to the Ramban, not this Ramban, the Ramban Yivayit Hanan, You have to remember Ma'amad Har Sinai. So this is why in the Siddur in the back you have Shesh Zechirot. We means the majority of religious people take the opinion once a year, if you do it, it's enough. But some say the Haredim 400 years ago in Tzfat says you have to remember it every day. This is why in the back of the Siddurim Shesh Zechirot. It's Amalek, Shabbat, Zachor et Yom HaShabbat, Zachor et Ha'Miyah. Here you have it.
Exafta Mei Meriva.
Okay, yes,
How come we
okay.
don't tell the women to come to shul to listen to the story of the man?
Because the man is only in the Sephardic Siddurim. In the Ashkenazi, you have only Shesh.
What, you have a different tent?
No, not your Shesh. No, it's
Oh, yes, what you say, shit.
Oh.
this is what Larry said. Shesh Zechirot. Look, here it's written. Larry, look a second. Here.
Also, you got to remember your anniversary and your wife's birthday too.
Pikuach Nefesh. It's not a question of Zachor. Yes, it's a.
And you can't do it balev either.
אוי ואבוי, אוי ואבוי. אבל זה כזה מאוד מעניין הסדר. Here it says, השם ייחוד קודשה בריחו, here it says, יציאת מצרים, שבת, מן, עמלק, מעמד הר סיני זה רמב"ן. ומה שהקציבו אבותינו, everyone takes this, מעשה מרים, everyone is מסכים, ומצוות וזכרת את השם, is not by 6. Bayas, we take out the man.
Because the word Zachor is there, right?
Okay,
The man, it says Zachor someplace there?
no, it says,
Why they put the man? It says Zachor or it doesn't say?
לא כתוב זכור, אני לא זוכר את המילה שכתוב, אבל לא כתוב. וזכירת ירושלים, אם אשכחך ירושלים, this is not
They
the
said to put a
חומש.
jar in the Kodesh.
נכון, לא, זה,
Zachor,
טוב, you will say,
Shama.
no, he's saying, maybe this is the זכור, אבל באמת, זה כתוב, המילה זכור לא מוזכרת, השם says to him, take a jar of man, put it this way for generations we know. So the question is, how do you interpret this?
With man.
No. He's saying the word zachor. This is
We have it. It's got-
Leaving it there, is that the
No,
proper
but
way
this
to
is
remember?
the
If it's just
Baruch
there?
is after. Look at it. It says to him, "Kach, take a jar, put it there."
But the last one about Hashem, it says Zachor.
מה זה בזכירת ירושלים? זה פסוק בתנ"ך. אם אשכחך ירושלים, תשכח ימיני. זה לא בתורה בכלל.
We're mahmirim, we like to be extra.
No. Anyway, let's go back now. If you take the Ramban in Chumash, תראה, זה מאוד יפה. The Ramban is saying, by listening to the Megillah and Purim, you are fulfilling also the mitzvah of reading the Sefer, the story of Amalek. Now if a woman is patur from hearing the Megillah, Tishma ze yofi, so she has the obligation only of listening to the Megillah. The reason why you read the Sefer by the Megillah is what? Because of Amalek, correct?
Yeah.
If a woman is patur from Amalek, so what is the obligation? To hear the Megillah, not to read the Megillah. It is because the Sefer, again, we started in the Gemara Yudchet. We saw in the Ramban. The reason why you need the Sefer is only because of Amalek. Yes, this is the Gzera Shava. If a woman is patur from Amalek, what is her obligation? She has to hear it because mitzvat persumei nisa. This is the explanation why the Bahag says that the mitzvah of the woman is to hear. לא לקרוא. כי הקריאה בספר is connected to Amalek.
The Maran is far from.
No. You don't
know.
even know. All this about Torah is based only because it's difficult to understand the Bahag.
What does the Rambam have to say about all
Oh,
this?
now let's see what the Rambam. But obviously the Rambam is not so open, otherwise it wouldn't be an argument. No, what I mean is, the reason I told Joseph to look, V'yesh Omrim, it brings the Bahag. Now look at the Rambam. This is really a good way to hear the Rambam.
But isn't the word likror very explicit? I mean, it is, but it isn't
Correct. This is the
very
truth.
explicit.
From the Rambam, we can maybe understand why the Shulchan Aruch did what he did.
Let's look at the Rambam. Look at the Rambam.
Very
Sefer
far from the Halakha.
Look at Sefer. But everyone agrees that if you learn the Gemara Pashut, of course Maran is right. A woman is chayav likro, finished. comes the Bahag. You can never
Where'd you get it
dismiss the
from?
Bahag. No, which means it's so, no,
Let's see Rambam, let's see Rambam.
but לא תשמע, I didn't bring the books, but the Bahag says, נשים מחויבות לשמוע מקרא המגילה, כך הוא אומר, לשמוע מקרא המגילה, לשמוע מקרא המגילה. Look at the Rambam all the way in the back, הלכות מגילה. ספר זמנים, הנה, אבל guys, this you have to, איפה זה אילן?
First page.
Look at the first page. This is not Rambam like a Zohar. Look carefully. והכל חייבים בקריאתה, יקבל זה רמב"ם, זה גמרא, אנשים, נשים ועבדים. Okay, fine, then it continues. Please look at הלכה ב', but carefully. אחד הקורא, this is שולחן ערוך copies word by word. ואחד השומע מן הקורא, יצא ידי חובתו, והוא שישמע ממי שהוא חייב בקריאתו, קריאתה. בסדר? לפיכך, סמי, listen to it. אם היה קורא קטן או שוטה,
He doesn't mention Isha.
didn't mention אישה. Didn't mention אישה. So, says the הגאות מימוניות, wait.
It's very clear.
It's not an
No,
omission.
that's not,
It's
no.
not a, it's an intentional
No,
omission.
it's
It's
very
not a inadvertent.
No.
No, it's כמעט מפורש. It's כמעט מפורש. רמב"ם, the only one. No. Only if you learn like Ashkenazim.
They always go together as a group.
לא, זה ברור. מדייקים את זה בדרך כלל, היה צריך לכתוב את זה. I'm not arguing, don't worry, I'm not arguing. Everyone agrees. The fact that the Rambam wrote it this way, אם היה קורא קטן או שוטה, למה לא כתב? אם היה קורא אישה קטן או שוטה,
Follows it.
Right. The first opinion, the second
Seems to
opinion.
follow.
No. The second opinion, he says.
No, we're Machmir,
But where do we usually go with the Yesh Omrim? How's the pattern?
The opposite.
Opposite. That's what I'm.
He brings two opinions. In the first one, he says stam. It's called stam. He doesn't mention names. And the Yesh Omrim, you always follow the stam, which means according to Shulchan Aruch, later, not today, but later we'll talk, can a woman write a Megillah? It's called, if you take the mitzvah now, stam, a woman is chayav the same as a man.
My friend's daughter wrote a Megillah.
Okay, so we'll see. We'll see.
Change your friend.
We'll see many opinions. We'll see many opinions. Torah she cannot write, mezuzah she cannot write even though she's chayav. So we see clearly machloket in the Rishonim. Can a woman write? Is writing the Megillah the same as writing mezuzah or not? Shulchan Aruch doesn't mention it. If you read the Rambam, the מעניין מאוד.
Okay.
If you take the position she's chayav the same, logically you would say why
Rambam, it's okay.
we agree on this Rambam.
No, but is the reason it's called Kriyat Shema then is you have to say words out loud. You have to hear it.
Because by Shema you're saying Kriyat HaMegillah, but this is how we started. Nashim Akol Chayavim b'Mikra Megillah. The Pashtut is a woman is the same as man, of course.
And what about Kriyat Shema?
Kriyat Shema, everyone agrees, but a woman is fatur because it's a mitzvah shazman grama. A woman is, but this is a general rule. Here we needed the Gemara to tell us.
Can I do the mitzvah Megillah today?
No.
So it's get him on.
No, so everyone agrees it's Zman Gerama. This is why the Gemara has to say. This is why you need a reason. You go to honest. Otherwise you'll be batu.
Rabbi, could you have once you have Bapeh, doesn't that automatically cover Balef? Or
Of course. I mean, many of us play every day, but
I know, but
not
only
Balef. No, but not normally.
Normally,
Of course.
automatically.
Every Bapeh is Balef. We started the opposite. Maybe Zachor Shirasa Amalek means only Balek.
Yeah,
Then we have the drasha.
Why can't we say that the mitzvah of hearing the Megillah he hears, but not the, something like we had before,
Exactly. Listen, tomorrow we're going to give two more explanations why, but explanation of today is based on the Ramban. If you take the opinion that reading the Megillah as a fulfillment of Amalek, and Sefer HaChinuch openly said that the woman is exempt from that. So here, listen what we do now. Reading the Megillah from a book is because you learn from Amalek and this part is exempt. But Shmiyat HaMegillah is Persumei Nisa, she's chayav like a man. So this is why the Bahag, of course, again, it's a shtickle Torah to explain why the Ramban is splitting it to mitzvah shmiyah, mitzvah kriya. We'll continue tomorrow. Come.
have a great day.
So, Rabbi, the woman only Shmiya, Rabbi, are obligated.
This is the second opinion, but normally, Maran, the stam of Maran is she's chayav the same as a man.